Hello, violas. Here's your last piece for the year. We're going to do Hakuna Matata. And you will notice that Hakuna Matata is a little bit long. And so what we're actually going to do is we're going to play the first 26 bars, but not really, because there are 8 bars of rest, and then there's another section that has 7 bars of rest. But we're going to play from the beginning until the key change at 26. All right, and then we're going to skip the middle section because it's kind of an interlude, and we're going to come in when the key goes back to normal. Okay, so if we see no sharps and see no flats, we assume we're in the key of C. We could be in a minor key. And so really we're going to play the very beginning, and then we're going to start up again at 51. It's very repetitive. There's a lot of the same thing. That's the only part that you would have to do for your playing quiz, and your playing quiz is the second week. Okay, now another thing you might look at before we start playing, because we said there's no sharps or flats, so you're going to have squishy twos, violas, yes, is it says 2, 2 at the beginning. Now that's kind of unusual to see it like that. A lot of times we see 4, 4 at the beginning. And if they want it to be 2, 2, which means the conductor is going to have, instead of saying 1, 2, 3, 4, the conductor is going to have 2 big pulses of half notes. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Or in your head, you're thinking 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's just easier for me. It pushes along a little bit faster, and the pulse feels like we hook those first 2 beats together and the last 2 beats together. So I would probably, or we would normally see something that looks more like a cent sign. So the C looks like common time, 4, 4, and then we chop it in half. In this case, they wrote 2, 2, and you can, in your head, just count it 4, 4, and that's still going to work. Okay, the very, very first note, even though we have no flats or sharps, is a flat. So your first finger is going to not be where it would be on the first tape. It's going to be pulled backwards towards the pegs, and then right away after that, you slide back up. Okay, so you've got a full beat rest, then you've got an 8th rest, which is half of a beat, then you got a quick note, and hopefully you recognize this. So it would be 1 and 2. Now that's another one. That one's hooked together. So a 1.5 beat note plus a 2 beat note is going to be 3.5 beats altogether. So here we go. Same thing again. So we're starting to measure now. 1 and 2. 1, 2. 2, 3, 4, rest, regular 1. Change if you need to. 1 and 2. Backwards. Okay, so you will see, and hopefully you know this from doing Here Comes the Sun. Hopefully you know this from doing some of the other pieces. There was a couple measures in Count on Me. When you see notes that have tails, like in measure 14, they're going to be fast. So the rhythm there will be fast, long, fast, and then it's connected to another note. So bum, 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 short, long, long, because the short one's attached to a long one. Okay, so I'm going to do that same thing again, right through without stopping. 1 and 2. Rest, rest. 1, 2, 3. 1 and 2. Good, and then we've got a bunch of rests, and now what we're going to do is we're going to skip down to where the key signature comes back to the normal. Okay, so we're going to skip down to 51, and I see that E flat written in there, that backwards. Okay, so here we go. 1 and 2. That's just like the beginning. This next measure, 53, has 8th notes, so it'll be quarter, 2 8th notes, and then what the heck is that next thing? It has a 3 underneath it. Now you should be familiar with this at this point. The 3 underneath it means triplets. So we're going to squish those 3 notes into the place where 2 would normally go. Now these happen to be quarter notes. So 2 quarter notes equals 2 beats. So squishing 3 notes or 3 quarter notes into 2 beats. So it would be rest, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2. Rest, rest, 57. 2, 3, and 1 and 2. And rest, regular 1. 1, 2, 3. 1 and 2. Backwards. All right, and I just want to talk about it really quickly. You should remember this, but if you did not, once you put a flat sign or a sharp sign into a measure, it continues until that measure ends. So I'm looking at the second to last measure on this whole page. So the last line on this first page, second to last measure, there's an E flat in there, but there's another E later in the measure, the last note in the measure, and that one is also going to be flatted. Okay, I'm going to go over to the second page and just finish up. Again, I said lots of it's the same. With 26 bars of rest, obviously you're going to skip that. I don't want to hear you sitting there recording it. All right, so we're going to start right where the music starts on line 2. Or, I'm sorry, page 2. Okay, 1, 2, ready, it's rest. Rest, rest, ready, and. Now, do you have to play both of those notes? No, you don't have to do both of those notes. You can pick one, and if you're going to pick one, pick the top one, because it's melody. But if you're a hot shot, or you got nothing but time on your hands, and you want to add some notes, you can play 1 finger on the D string and an open G. Now, the first note at 100 is a little bit hard, because you can't play an open D and 3 on the C string. You've got to play 4 fingers on the G string and then 3 fingers on the C string. And then it changes, so you've got 2 fingers on the C string and 3 fingers on the G string. Goes back to normal. 1 and 2. 1 and 2. 1 and 2. 1, 2. Rest, rest, what? Rest. And rest. Double notes again if you want. Same thing. 1 with an open G, 4 on D, and 3 on the C string. Then 3 on G and 2 on the C string. 1, 2, 3. 1 and 2. All right, so the biggest thing is watch for those E flats, and they last for the entire measure. Also, there's not many places, but there's a couple places where you got squishy 2s. All right, and they're mostly on the D string. So watch out for those. Do your best. Hakuna Matata. All right. All right. I hope you have a fantastic week, and I will talk to you soon.